everybody! We're back! It's been a hot minute. Today is November 27th, 2023, and you are loved. You have joined us here tonight for the Four Keeps Dark Star Legacy Epilogue. The final part of history that we will be writing for the Four Keeps campaign. So thank you all for joining us. If this is your first time joining us, you can actually go to youtube.com/indooradventures to check up on all of the VODs of each of the games that we have played up until this point, or you can go towards anywhere audiocasts are being made available for free. You can find us there under the same moniker. And speaking of things that are being made available for free, if you go to patreon.com/indooradventures, you can check up on our after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from each other, but also from the community. So if you have any questions to ask myself or any of these other fine folk, you can again go to patreon.com/indooradventures. The easiest way to ask us those questions, of course, is going to be going to join our Discord. The link can be found in the Twitch chat to the side or in the description of this video or audiocast down below. But let's say you already support us on Patreon, you already support us on YouTube and Twitch and all of those other wonderful places, and you're trying to think to yourself, where can I go to help support this fantastic show even more? Well, guess what, Acorns? I got your back, quite literally, in fact, because if you go to indooradventure.redbubble.com, we got t-shirts, we got posters, we got mugs, we got crop tops, throw pillows, shower curtains, aprons, clocks. We even have face masks with the symbol of Tiamat upon them, designed by our very own Cyberwolf1201, where all of the proceeds of our merch currently goes to help support Doctors Without Borders. So if you would like to help support a good cause, or possibly help support the show, you can again go to indooradventure.redbubble.com. That is indooradventure, no S at the end, .redbubble.com. But that is it for my opening spiel. So hey, Caelum, hey RJ, who you playing tonight?
Hey everybody, I'm RJ. Today I'm playing Caelum, the Shatterkai Wizard Fighter. We both go by he, him, and he's a dad. I have dad humor.
Hi, I'm LBHackEmUp. You can find me at LBHackEmUp on the Twitters, the Twitches, the Blue Skies, and all the other fun stuff. I'm going to be playing Gwen, the Halfling Barbarian. She's also a mother.
Hoi, I'm Cyber. I use he or whatever pronouns. I play Arjhan. Arjhan is Tiamat Cilius Goose. He uses he, him pronouns. He is also a dad.
Hi, everybody. I'm Wings, also known as Danae Keener. She, her. Today I'm playing as Cori, the Eladrin Paladin, who is not a dad, but they have asexually reproduced.
Are you, it could be the father of all elves.
Sure, yes, technically the mantle of the father of all elves.
Yeah, I am the indoor adventurer.
Anybody want to hear a Coralon fact?
No, Aunt Cori, we don't want to hear any more Coralon facts.
Tonight,
I've only got the one!
I shall be your dungeon master. So, last we left off, your group rode upon the mechanical tyrant into the realm of Caius, the worm that walks, and after a grueling combat that realistically probably lasted like half of a minute, I don't even think that we got to the 10-round count, Caius was defeated. Caelum was able to overcharge the spell of sealing that he had learned from Asmodeus to trap Caius into this divine weapon, this weapon that you had found at the bottom of the sea of burning night that was built to house a spirit as great as Caius. Where we pick up, your group has just defeated Caius. The plane breaker has burst through and is making its course through this now unwormed space. And we're going to kind of fast play a little bit of what happens here. Your group has defeated Caius, and things seem to be fine. There's no additional monsters that are coming to attack you. You see the plane breaker making its course, and everything is relatively at ease. You know that your vessel was built with a silvered door handle in it, also with the ability to return back to the material plane to fully exit this here worm space, and your group, as well as Skiznabat's crew, can exit and finally make your way back to solid ground. There are a few things that are required before you're truly able to rest, such as informing the navigator who had sold you your map what truly lied at the end of Worm Space. You also still do have a tablet of true resurrection should you want to use it for whatever reason or hang on to it. That is entirely up to the party. But as we are putting bows and crossing T's and dotting I's as we make our way back to the material plane, is there anything that you guys want to do while you're still in the astral sea?
Talking to the map maker, Caelum just barges in, opens it. It was worms. Turns around and closes the door.
And there's a call through the door. Is it still worms?
Nope.
Oh.
No, but there was a possibly
Dead god.
He like sort of brushes it off. Dead gods are boring to him.
It twitched.
Just a little.
Now that is not boring. And you see this map maker. Later on, this map maker will attempt to hire a crew of adventurers to go and investigate once again what lies beyond the Eye of Doom.
I was going to say, as Caelum had worked part-time as a navigator on Oliviette's ship, he could give them, like, the coordinates.
Yeah. He is, and this map maker, more than happy to receive as such. Yeah. At this point in time, Skiznabat's crew, having successfully adventured with you all, they are going to make their departure. It seems like their journeys in the astral sea are not over. And having fulfilled their end of the contract of being able to get you there and defeating Caius, they are most likely going to take some time to question the directions that they have been following up until this point. Maybe they want to do some less dangerous missions. At least, nothing that would involve going up against a creature that would be God. This is when we are going to fast forward again, because I have a very important question for each of you. What bar do you all want to go to relax after stopping Caius? What place do you want to go to finally put a cold mug on the table and relax just for a little bit after defeating an evil that would have swallowed the multiverse?
That one bar in that one podunk town we stopped in where I got possessed by a ghost?
Yeah. You can definitely go to the bar.
Shroudport. We're going to go to Shroudport.
Yeah,
obviously. We're going to the Rusty Anchor.
Yes.
It's the Zesty Anchor. It's not rusty, it's zesty.
Not anymore.
I see now that I've made a few mistakes.
Okay. So you all appear at the Zesty Anchor, and when you do, Fang does his typical spiel of pushing everybody away from the table that has the symbol of the four keeps on it that he has set aside specifically for you. And it is at this point that he is going to bring a round of drinks for you all. On the way to this place, I feel like you all would have let your terrestrial friends know that you were going to be at this bar. So filling the bar, you have, you see that there's like a weird mechanical bike that is actually set outside of this bar. And you realize that Ozzy, your friend from Vascor, has rode quite some time, quite a ways to be able to get a drink with you all. You see the three members of Off Constantly here at the same table that they were less than 2 years ago when Caelum, you had decided that you were going to go off and have an adventure of your own. There are friends here. There are strangers here that do not know the efforts and the frankly, the trials that you've been through to enjoy this one nice drink. And you are congratulated by your friends. You are thanked by, well, I mean, Prescott is technically a friend. He loves you still. Everyone here is celebrating you all and your return. There are Caelums here. There are sea captains here. There are no less than 2 dragons that have arrived to congratulate you all. And as the night goes on, what are some of the things that your group talks about and reflects on as you sit here in Shroudport at the Zesty Anchor? As Fang is just like, whatever food that you want, whatever drinks that you want, this is all free of charge. Because you have let Fang know, like, routinely through your adventures, like, we got to stop the ball of worms. And then you come back, hey, we defeated the ball of worms. He's like, incredible. Like, I can still keep running this bar. This is fantastic.
World's not going to end. This is fine.
World's not going to end. I can still engage in consumerism. Hooray.
Caelum, at some point during the night, approaches off constantly.
Yeah, you can see that Farron is in the process of laughing at Mug, who did that thing where he like reached for food but didn't check where his elbow was in proportion to a drink, and it's a little bit of a party foul. But Farron sort of like pats Prescott and like points at the spill, and Prescott is like a little drunk. Prestidigitation cleans up the mess.
Hey.
And Farron just stands up.
Oh, no.
Brings you into a hug. Just,
okay.
Hey, yourself. It's good to see you. Well, you know, not all wormified. You have to tell me if you're full of worms.
Mostly guts. 1 brain, 1 heart, 2 lungs. Last time I checked. No worms.
No worms. Good. That's good. Here, you know, there's always room at the table for you. I was going to call you young man, but I think that you are older than all of us combined, unless it's a Tuesday, in which case you're probably, what, like 14? And then Wednesday, you're like back at like the 300 range. Do you just sort of like pop back and forth?
Not of my own volition, sadly, but I know we're celebrating, but I have something very serious to talk about.
Well, take a seat unless you'd prefer a stand.
He'll sit across from them. Something big happened to me on our way to fight Caius. And it might come out of the blue, but I don't really have parents of my own, and I was really hoping that the 3 of you would be grandparents to my kid.
There is the sound of glass breaking upon the floor. Or I guess it wouldn't be glass, it would be ceramic. And you see that Mugwort, who is holding his mug, his fingers have loosened. And he just starts getting tears in his eyes and says, I'm going to be pop. And Farron just like is taken aback and it's like puts his hand on Mug's chest and says, we're going to be pop. And Prescott, notably, the 2 of you are going to be pop. I want none of this. Congratulations, but that sort of responsibility... I don't know if you are familiar with the way that I interacted with you along our travels, but fathering is not an adventure. Grandfathering is not an adventure. Maybe,
Weird uncle?
Spiteful uncle, yes.
Spiteful uncle.
Let's go for weird.
You're still gonna come around for the holiday, like, pictures, right?
As long as these 2 are going, I have nothing else to do for the next... Farron, how long do you have left on this mortal coil? And Farron just like looks at it just like, what the fuck, man? This is a good time. We are having a nice time. Don't bring up... Look, if I died once, I'll just come back again. It's fine. Anyways, we would love to. That sounds fantastic. All I'm saying is that Farron is a great name, and maybe not an elven name for sure, but you know, something to think about. So lucky lady, I'm guessing, is...
You were at my wedding.
That's what I'm just confirming. We've all done a lot of things in the Astral Sea we're not proud of.
What?
Don't worry about it, Caelum.
I think that's where that conversation's gonna cut, so I can switch to someone else.
Okay. Yeah, Gwen, here at the Zesty Anchor, Philip is here, Grayskull is here. Your Jingle and Jangle, your two Kanku friends from far long ago, are also here. They seem to be riding on the fact that like they know you and are sort of like getting the free drinks. Like, oh, I remember them from like way long ago. Like they are definitely kind of like milking the fact that they know you for some free food and drink. But like,
obviously,
it's fine.
Is Swift there?
Swift as the 10 Winds is indeed there. It seems that he is, along with Mirth, doing their best to meet up with the serving demand, but he is present at this place. And he seems like it's one of those things, like he is quick enough with sending out orders that if you wanted him to sit down and take a load off, he would readily be able to do so. Mirth probably won't enjoy it, but she seems like she doesn't enjoy a whole lot of things.
Yeah. I think Gwen will, because Swift was dealing with the vampires, right?
Swift as a whole, he was doing the... I mean, he was kind of dealing with the vampires. He was mostly hanging out with the bird folk, the Aarakocra.
Yeah, I'll probably just ask, like, have you been up to the Aarakocras since we left you?
Things with the Aarakocra, well, you know, once the Bright Wardens sort of established, not control, I want to say, that makes it seem like sort of a bad thing they're doing, but once they established a sense of peace and understanding, having Nobu gone, this sort of shadow leader, has definitely allowed for peace to spread across the land. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear that. I know sometimes our adventures get lost behind when we go do big stuff, so...
Oh, no. At least 3 generations of Aarakocra will remember you. And that is not to... put past the fact that it seems like one of the last things that you did was turn one of their advisors back into a young bird.
Yeah, I don't remember that, but doesn't sound like something I did.
Caelum about that, if anything.
Anyways,
seems, magically oriented enough to, I don't know. We've seen him change ages a lot. I think that's just something he does. Yeah.
No, I actually remember that. I'm just projecting. Anyways, so where are you off to next?
Oh, well, most likely wherever the wind takes me. This point, I was thinking of heading south, quite rightfully. The Warring Kingdoms, not the best or most friendly places necessarily. However, if there's one thing that they do well there, spice.
Spice?
Spice, a little bit of paprika, a little bit of a smoky kind of flavor. Have you ever had turmeric? What about cumin? Have you ever had cumin?
No, I thought tumors were bad.
Tumors, yes. Turmeric, delicious.
Yes, that's what we dye our clothes with sometimes.
It can also be used for that, yes.
It could be used in food?
Oh, yes. As a seasoning, it's quite wonderful. If you want something... I'm trying to... It has almost like a gingery flavor to it.
Uh-huh.
But it's not as strong as ginger. But if you mix it with a little bit of ginger into some rice, and I know it sounds strange, but you add some raisins into it, it can actually... It's actually a wonderful meal.
Raisins. Huh. Most of our raisins are soaked in rum.
Oh, rum raisin, delicious. Use those in a cake and you'll have a mighty fine dessert. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I think I'm gonna head north after all this when we decide to break apart, and I think maybe taking a walk is gonna be my best bet. So, do you know anybody in town who does supplying anymore for adventures?
Supplying like an adventuring company, that sort of thing.
Well, I
Or
just need like
a pack, some food.
yeah, like a backpack.
Tell
I
you
don't think
what,
I've actually had gear in a long time.
if you want to stretch your legs and you're looking for a nice meal and some good food that's going to last you a while, before you head out, make a stop here. Fang and Huddle will set you up right. Unless you want to spend money on lesser quality food. I understand. Sometimes you're
I'll
on
be
the road
honest.
and you just need like a bite to eat.
I don't even know if I have any money. Arjhan usually handles that, so
Oh, okay. I see. Well, I mean, I'm sure you could probably ask him for, I don't know, a cut? If you were an adventuring company. You have equal share, equal holding in that company.
I guess I just assumed that, whatever we got went into the company or maybe like a savings account. But I don't really need money. I just have like, a tribe. I'm kind of a ruler.
I have heard rumors of a new city that I have a very, and this might, sound a little negligible as a question. You do understand that cities oft require money to function, yeah?
Oh, absolutely, but not me. Like I don't need personal money.
No, I
Right?
suppose you wouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, if you okay, let's put this into let's kind of frame this a little bit. So, if you don't have money,
Mm-hmm.
and you are walking down the street, and there used to be a wonderful couple that would go around, and they had a traveling bread cart. Now, imagine you came across them in the road, and you didn't have money. What would you do?
Offer to kill something for them?
They are a sweet old couple that probably doesn't need anything dead yet, but I like where this is going. I think that offering your services, your abilities wherever you go, you will find that it is oft appreciated.
Yeah. Maybe I'll ask Arjhan for some traveling money, but
I would recommend no less than 200 coins if you are walking from here to, you said the north?
yeah, like just south of Greenreach.
Maybe 150. Maybe
All right.
150 would probably get you there. I mean, realistically, like we're in a major port of commerce. We can honestly charge whoever we want. It's Fang's noble sensibilities that keep our food reasonably costed.
Yeah.
But we make most of the money on alcohol anyways. That being said, I wish you luck on your travels. And the second part of this question, were you asking me where I was headed because you wanted somebody to travel with? Yeah.
Well, I was thinking it might be nice to have somebody else. I mean, I'm traveling with Philip, obviously, but might be good to get a couple others going up there, see what they can find.
Well, how about this? I'll travel north with you as far as you said it was a village. I've heard others state that it's a city. There are walls
Yeah.
there, correct?
Yeah. I mean, there are walls. There's
It doesn't really
buildings.
constitute a village anymore, does it?
I guess not.
You have stone
No,
walls, town halls, massive buildings. That's a city.
Yeah.
Now,
An
what I can do
empire.
is that I can ask Fang how he feels about franchising. Perhaps there's room for a place such as this in a town closer to you. That being said, I have also heard that there is a new up-and-coming town. Well, new. It's several months older than yours. That doubles as a spa. It's been a while since I've had a spa. I'm not really sure exactly what a spa is. I mean, I've been to hot springs before.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd like to go there as well. And then on maybe the way down, I'll just keep
Yeah.
going.
Yeah. Well, I trust that you'll stay out of trouble. Or at least not enough trouble to keep yourself out of.
Even when I find myself in trouble, I often find that I can run faster than those chasing me. Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. I appreciate that.
Of course.
Oh, actually, you're good at sailing, right?
Yes.
I'm considering making a school. I'm going to make a school. But I was thinking that there might be a good, like, system where I can bring in people who know about different, like, types of, guilds or, like, ways to do things in the world. So, like, having someone who knows how to be on a ship to, like, show the kids, like, oh, this is what it's like to be on a ship, and, like, give them, like, the real deal. We don't, like, bullshit and be like, oh, it's fun all the time. Like, tell them about, like,
I have a serious follow-up question to that, and I don't
Yeah.
mind being offered a spot in academia. You said that this was south of Greenreach.
Yeah.
So it is entirely landlocked.
Yeah.
And you are looking for someone to teach the youth how to sail on the open ocean.
Oh, no. It's more like a come in for a couple days thing and, like, explain to them what it is so they get an understanding of it. So, like, if they want to maybe when they're older go off and learn at a port. Like, sort of like a, bring your parent to work to school day where they tell you, like, oh, I'm a cobbler. This is how you make shoes.
I can do that. I know that Lake Kellenach is close by. Perhaps they can use that for fishing. The waters are still enough. Maybe we can get a few of them into a canoe or something.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I would not mind teaching the youth in the ways of the culinary arts, the wicked science of gastronomy, cooking.
Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You could guess. We are going to have cooking classes, but it's going to be more like Goliath cooking classes.
A delicacy that I am sure many enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Goliaths have these, like, really hearty stomachs, so you have to make 1, a lot of protein, 2, a lot of carbs, and you gotta really make it hearty. Otherwise, there's just, like, nothing, Like, they don't really know what a salad is, but, like, who needs salads anyways?
Arjhan crunches on his salad.
There are many ways to get you all to eat vegetables, I am sure, and I will stay at this place until I make sure that they are eating healthy. Otherwise, have you heard of this thing called biscuits and gravy?
I know what a biscuit is, and I know what gravy is. I've never had it together. Isn't it, like, super runny? Wouldn't it just make it all, like, sloppy?
So you add a little bit of what's called cornstarch to it. It will firm up just enough. What you're essentially doing is that you're making carbs as the biscuit, and then you're drizzling it with more carbs as the gravy and throwing protein into it. If this is something that you feel like the Goliaths would need, I can trick a vegetable or two with that.
That sounds incredible.
then I will gladly join you in your travels. Yeah.
Hell yeah. How about a drinking contest?
I am working, otherwise I would.
Okay.
If
Gwen
you would like
stands
to
up.
stage one, I will set
I
up
got
a
it.
table.
Hold on. Gwen stands up and then stands on the bar, stands up on her stool, stands up on the bar, puts her hands in the air, and just says, "All right, motherfuckers, we're gonna have a drinking contest right here, right now. Anyone who can beat me." Oh, what did you get? Arjhan, how much money do I have?
Almost enough to pay for that person's medical bills.
You heard it here, folks.
Let's fucking rage! And Grayskull smashes his ceramic mug. And
Oh,
comes
we
to
don't do
join.
that anymore.
Oh,
No.
no, but I mean,
Only the wooden ones. Just
let's go.
No,
Oh.
raging's fine.
Oh,
Raging's
okay,
fine.
sick.
The glass.
Oh, but like, I thought that's why we have mages, because they can like mend it together and stuff.
From across the bar, there's just a snap, and mending gets casted.
You know what? Fuck it, Grayskull. You're the smartest person I know. Let's
Wizards
go.
and shit. Let's fucking drink.
Yeah. Douche.
Okay. Arjhan, Cori. Arjhan, inside of this bar, you see that the majority of the Heralds of Tiamat are there. You see, I don't know if there's room for Rasa to be.
I assume not.
Probably not. However, notably, there is one guest that you were not anticipating being here at this bar in Shroudport, and you recognize Kara, the Black Head of Tiamat. And she is sitting there with the other heralds, and she seems to be listening to Jirana. It seems like Kara's presence here has not deterred Jirana's boisterous nature. Kendek, a quiet individual in general, is a little wary of her, but doesn't seem to really pay too much mind, and she just seems to be enjoying herself.
I will get up and walk over to them. And just sort of, breathe a sigh of relief. And if she seems receptive to it, I will hug Kara.
Yeah. She is slightly taken aback, as one of those things where you are now receiving a hug from somebody who does not actively hug other people that she knows of. But she's receptive to it. There is a little bit of like a stark, like, what do I do with my hands? And then she will wrap her arms around your waist and complete the hug. And she says, "It is good to see you, and it is good to see you all in one piece." Yes, hi, Beetle.
It's been so much, but you've made it. And a lot of people to thank for that. You're definitely one of them.
It is an odd feeling being thanked for doing good deeds, for doing something that has a positive effect on others. I've started hearing songs. I've started receiving praise, all in your wake. it seems that even the gods themselves are not above experiencing a change in character. You thank me because I helped you, and I appreciate it. But I would like to thank you for letting me know what it feels like to experience a hug for the first time in I am not sure how long. To experience the sound of joy at my arrival. It is a strange thing, but it is not unwarranted, and it is not unappreciated. I'm glad I could help. And if your drinks were not already covered, I would offer to pay for some of them. But I believe that the man at the bar, this Fang Zest, stated that you all drink for free. I would like to buy you a drink another time. As friends, if you would like.
I would.
And she will smile and take a sip. And there's like a look where she just like kind of like recoils at the flavor. It has been a while since she's probably had beer on the material plane. And it's a surprise every time. But she will sort of set it down, and Jirana looks at her and says, "The trick is that you have to drink the whole thing at once. That way you can't taste any of it." And Kara, like, sort of looks at her, looks at the drink, and she puts it to her lips and just like keeps draining back, and she is going to try, whereas Jirana is like letting it run down the side of her face and just kind of like making a general mess in the way that she does. Kara is like trying to like understand how this party functions. But she is here and she is willing, and Kendak, I think Kendak at this point will when Jirana goes to like stand and get another round, she's impatient. She's not waiting for servers to bring her beer. She can carry more herself. I think that Kendak will look to you, Arjhan, and he will ask, when Rasa is at Verstein, I have a question. You two are are you mates?
This is a very loud bar. I'm gonna need you to get a little bit closer to the mic.
Are you mates?
Yes.
And you can see that like Kendak is sort of like fidgeting with something under the table. When did you know that you were mates?
I suppose while we were mating,
And he's sort of like, you can see there's that look of acknowledgement, like, ah, yes, that is clearly like understood. Cross that bridge when he gets to it.
But there was a definite interest and attentiveness from both of us before then. And we were sort of responding to each other's love languages, gifts, words of affirmation, body language, touch, time spent together. Have you given anything to her and gotten anything in return, or has she complimented you and you complimented her? Did she seem interested in your story of having forged something with the help of a god?
And he has this moment, starts nodding.
Has she made excuses or just seemed really interested in bringing you along while she does things, spending time with you? Have you wanted to do things with her?
And he nods and says, we have gone on patrols together when the town is safe. I have brought her food when I know that she has forgotten to eat that day. I have made her weapons that she carries with pride. And she is patient when it is difficult to find the words to say. And you look over and you see Jorana is like demanding more beer at the counter, like the most impatient person at this bar.
And Arjhan just, nods a little bit knowingly. Well, then everything is there. The only thing to really do to take that next step and really find out if you are mates is, to define that relationship. Ask if you want to commit to each other. If not, if you want to be mates, but maybe to just in a more humanoid sense, if you want to be, partners, or if you want to be, if you want to, live together, or, something like that. However comfortable the two of you feel in defining your relationship for each other or with each other.
And he nods. And it is at that point that you, with your high perception, can catch a glimpse of what he has been fidgeting with under the table. You would think that it's like a ring or something. It's actually a pommel. Like, it's a pommel that looks like it goes down into a spike. Like, he has given her an addition to a pre-existing... He wants to give her an addition to a pre-existing weapon. Something that he knows that she will actively use and carry, and wouldn't want to be without.
So is the pommel in your hands a sort of token of commitment, or is it another gift?
And he says, I want to help every day that I can. And I don't want there to be a patrol that she goes on that I miss. I think she is nice in her own way. And he grabs his drink and just slams the whole thing, wipes the beer and foam.
That's good. That's good. Tell her exactly that, and then ask whatever you want the relationship to be, whether that, if that's living together, or if you want to just be partners, or.
And he nods, and Kara, who is sitting at this table as well, leans over and pats his back and says, "You're going to do fine. I can't change the way that she feels about you, and I can't change the way that you feel about her. But a little bit of guidance never hurt anybody." And you see that her hand glows, and she's going to give him just a little bit of an extra D4 when dealing with nerves. She's going to give him a guidance. And at that, you see Kendek nods. And when Jorana comes back, he is, before she sits down, he will stand up and say, "Jorana, I would like to speak with you about something in a quieter environment, if that is all right with you." With the most clarity and sure-footedness that you have ever seen Kendek approach anyone, Jorana sort of looks taken aback and says, "Can I bring my beer with me?" He's like, "I'm going to bring mine with me as well, yes." And the two of them will take a quick step outside the bar to discuss something that Kendek has had on his mind for quite some time. And as the two of them are speaking...
I've been a hitman.
We did.
Oh my god! I was literally going to be like, and Cori and Oliviette are watching on, and Cori says, "Who would have thought that Arjhan turned out to be the greatest hitman of us all?"
And I think this is a good point to like kind of swivel the camera over to you two. And Oliviette...
Cori can have the brain cell now.
Yeah. Oliviette sort of like looks at you and says, "You know a hitman is an assassin, right?"
An assassin of hearts. Wait, seriously?
You are very beautiful. You are very cute. She gives you a smooch. Cori, at this bar, at this gathering, the Caelums that were able to make it have joined. So Caelum Summer is here. The Caelum of Spring is noticeably late. It seems like going to a bar when she is with child is not the best opportunity, best place for her. It's really just the Caelum of Summer who's here. He seems to be enjoying himself. You see that Ampleforth is also getting beer. People just seem to be serving him as this weird, wild creature. Cori, at one point during the evening, the doors open. It gets a little quiet. And you see Oakenheel. And Oakenheel walks in. And it's like this weird moment where like a strange deer creature is walking into the bar. And they come up in front of your table, look at you, snort, nod. Then they lean their head down, and you think for a moment that you're going to have the horse girl headbutt. And then there is a lapping sound, and they are drinking the beer out of your mug.
Yes, of course.
And they pick up the mug with their teeth and walk out of the bar. Is that a friend of yours?
I don't know if that's the right word.
That's nobody's horse.
Damn straight.
And Cori, I have a follow-up question. How many Coris are here? Or is it like, is it just like, did you all like go back to Prime to enjoy this? Or is like one table dedicated to just a shit ton of Coris?
God, wouldn't that be an image? No. I'm gonna say, like, if we rewind like, 20 minutes, Cori walked into the room, immediately made out with Oliviette for like a good 30 seconds, turned around like, may I? And like reabsorbed Spring Cori, and then like turned back around and made out with Oliviette with like renewed fervor.
Yeah, sure. This is your after party. I'm not going to tell you no.
But Summer Cori is noticeably absent.
It's true. I think that Summer Cori, with the spirit of adventure still in them, having felt like they did not participate very much in the whole Caius fight, with permission, has opted to stay and join Skiznabat.
She had permission, but she was staying regardless of whether she had it or not.
The permission was more of like hey, I'm going to do this, but I'm being nice to let you know about it beforehand.
Essentially, yes.
But yeah, so you and Oliviette are enjoying this, and I think Oliviette, looking at all of this, like all of these people that have come here, she says, it really puts it into perspective. All of these people, your friends, your other friends, each one of their lives was changed because they knew you. My life was changed because I knew you. You hopped on my ship, and then within a week, I was on the moon, meeting a goddess, getting a holy sword entrusted to me, and things have been, things have been great for the most part. There are a few ups and downs here and there, but all things considered, wonderful.
Would you change anything?
I would change a few things. But ultimately, the things that I would change are more... I should have cut my hair differently at a certain place if I knew that Caelum was going to be taking a picture. I should have worn something nicer. Those kinds of things. Superficial changes, but when it comes to you, I would never have changed a thing. I have gone on many adventures in my life, Calas. But marrying you, and then running from your mother for several months' time.
Oh, she's not doing that anymore.
No, I think we gave her the slip.
Mm-hmm.
She couldn't follow us to the moon, that's for sure.
Certainly not.
She sort of like looks at you.
Olivia, I have something to tell you. And we can cut away for that.
And the night goes on as expected. You all enjoy your drinks. You all enjoy the company and time of your friends. Kendek and Jirana rejoin the party, both sitting a little bit closer next to each other. Jirana seemingly a little bit quieter, a little bit more reserved, though happy, and Kendek seems to have found his voice in this, and he seems to be a little bit more boisterous, a little bit louder. It could be the beer. It could be because he just asked somebody that he's been crushing on for quite some time if they wanted to be partners. She said yes. The night goes on, and one by one, the groups that have assembled here begin to leave, until it is the wee hours of the morning turning into day, and it is the four of you here at the Zesty Anchor. Grayskull is asleep. He seems to have, rather than retiring to a room, has pulled several benches together to make a makeshift bed for himself, and he is sort of like curled up near-ish the fire. Philip has also retired to his room. Everyone is essentially gone but the four of you. And the question that I have now, I would like to know, who is the first one to stand and exit the table as we begin to go into our epilogue? Who is the first person to call it a night?
I think that would be Arjhan.
Okay. Arjhan, you get up, you bid your friends good night. You make your way to your evening plans. Who's the second one to leave the table? At this point, it is just Cori, Caelum, and Gwen.
I think Cori gets up next.
Okay. Olivia.
She has a wife she hasn't seen in a while.
Olivia has retired to her room already, or I guess your room already. And Cori, you bid your friends good evening, and you go to spend time with your wife. Caelum, it is just you and Gwen.
I promised Diantha that I'd be back as soon as possible.
Of course. Sleep well.
You too. Actually, I'm gonna pop over now and go see her.
All right. I'll
I'll
see
keep
you
in-
around.
Yeah, I'll keep in touch.
I know.
He'll put an arm around Gwen, give her a squeeze, before he'll head outside the Zesty Anchor and just open a plane hop to the spring court.
Okay. Gwen, you watch as one by one your friends, your party members, your companions head out from the Zesty Anchor, and you cannot help but remember the first time that you met them, the first time that you met each of these individuals. Caelum looked like a piece of wet toast with a little bit of wizarding spirit inside of him. He had come into this bar that you were hired to be a bouncer for. You remember the first time that you saw Cori walking in with Arjhan, this large dragon man who looked like if anybody looked at them wrong, that they might just evaporate, that they did not want to be involved in any kind of crowd. Cori, for the most part, hasn't really changed. But it's hard not to reflect on the impact that your experiences together have left you. And at that point, as you're experiencing this, you see Huddle come out from behind the kitchen, and he will set a plate of potato and sausage in front of you. And he gives you a solitary thumbs up and heads back into the kitchen. And Gwen, as you sit now alone in the Zesty Anchor, your friends having bid you goodnight and farewell, the snores of Grayskull and Todd the God Goat echoing through these empty halls, that is where we are going to go into our break for the evening. We're going to try and be back in 5 to 10 minutes. So don't go no place because, hey, guess what? I've given these players 15 years of time to fill in on their own. So we got a lot to look forward to. Anyways, 5 to 10 minutes. Don't go no place. We'll be right back. All right, everybody. See you soon. I pressed the button. Hello, everybody.
Simon!
It's been 15 years. Where have you been, Simon?
You
You never call. You never write.
I was trapped on an island, and you're not going to believe this. There was a shadow monster that actually wasn't a polar bear. There was a hatch that was involved. Now, the hatch was really interesting. There was somebody who was caught in a time loop, and the whole thing was directed or produced by J.J. Abrams. It was wild.
You're gonna need to go through that again. I got really lost.
Hey, it's a
Sounds
bad
like
show.
some metaphor to the afterlife, but I'm not certain. It was very ambiguous in the end.
Simon,
Yeah.
I was gonna say something, but I'll shave it for later. Ah!
Oh my god!
Ow.
The big reveal.
It comes full circle, baby.
You remember? Remember we did a mustache when we started the bits, and now it's grown into a beard because it's been so long.
It's been 84 years. Yes, RJ?
Oh, no, sorry. You went slightly robotic
You
there
did-
for a
yeah,
hot
you
second.
didn't.
Okay.
Who, me?
Still coming
No,
through
Simon.
robot sound?
Yeah, you're
Oh.
good. You're good
No,
for
you're
now.
okay.
Cool.
I didn't hear that from Simon at all.
I also didn't hear it from me, which is
Well,
good. And I'm assuming the stream people probably didn't hear it because it comes through directly from my microphone rather than collecting it through Zoom. So, fingies crossed. But,
indeed.
So are my toesies.
ooh, can't show that on Twitch. Now,
Bet I can. This is the final episode, motherfucker.
incredible. So, as we said before we went to break, one of the things that we established here during our extended break from when we last played, we played this game almost a month ago. It has been a long time since we did anything for keeps. This is also why I was like, we need to finish by X date because the holidays will screw any kind of momentum that we have. But now that we have had the time, we've had the distance to prepare for what have you, I would like for us to go around the table and we are going to go in 5-year increments to talk about what our players have done, what our characters have been up to in the 5, 10, and later 15 years since Caius's downfall. So at this point, I would like to start with Caelum. Caelum, what have you been up to for the last 5 years?
In the 5 years after sealing Caius, Caelum has finished building the Temple of Saloon out in the forest. He's converted it into an orphanage. And he has hired out people that he trusts to take care of the kids and teach them, like, hey, you're really powerful with magic, but that's fine. You can just be a kid here.
Fair enough. Give them a little bit of time to play and enjoy themselves, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
During this time, during this 5-year period, you would become a father, which is a wonderful thing. I know that one of the things that you had also reached out to me about was trying to track down the Shadarkai spirit of your father. As you know, now that Shadarkai can be born again and all of that kind of things, like he's not trapped, so to say. And it is the first time that your son opens their eyes that you know exactly where your father's spirit is. Just as he watched over you, you will now watch over him.
A beautiful half Shatterkai, half Eladrin baby them.
A babu.
Material plane name Rowan. Elven name Seblon.
I like it. And I think during this time, Caelum, you have gone to the lowest part of the hells. You have gone to the farthest reaches of the astral sea, and nothing could prepare you for having a child. This boy scream. This little them scream.
It's okay. We're elves. We only need 4 hours of sleep anyway.
That's true. What better time?
Hey.
Mm-hmm.
That means also so do they.
Well, that's good. Then we're on the same sleep cycle.
Fair enough. So, Caelum, you are building this orphanage. You are running that on the material plane. You're also helping out raise your own child.
Progeny.
Your little progeny. It's a great word for it. Is there anything else you wanted to do in that 5-year time?
In the 5 years, every year on the day of, well, this is continuation into the future, but every single day on the day they sealed away Caius, Caelum disappears just for 24 hours. It's to check up on their sealed person.
Okay. Because you had explained, or
I'd explained that I kind of wanted to try and see if we can rehabilitate him.
okay. Yeah. If you go to try and check up on Caius, for each of those years, you will need to make a wisdom save.
Okay. 15 wisdom saves. Can I just do one?
No, just for these first 5.
Okay. 24.
24? Yeah. We'll say that the 24 will carry you through, as every year you go on the date that Caius was sealed to commune with the spirit of Caius, this elder evil that you personally sealed inside of a Kopesh, and say, if you've been really good this year, I might let you out. To which Caius is silent the first year. They're silent the second year. On the 3rd year, they speak to you. And they say, eventually, you will die. Eventually, these barriers will fail. I do not need to rush my freedom. I waited a millennia for an attempt the first time. What is another millennia spent waiting? They do not talk to you in the 4th year. They do not talk to you in the 5th year. Okay.
All right.
And we are going to go over to Gwen. Gwen, it has been 5
Hello.
years since the events of the 4 Keeps Darkstar Legacy. What has Gwen gotten up to in those 5 years? You said that you walked all the way up to where the tribe is, back to Storm Shield. Yeah. At this point, Swift is the 10 wins. He's stuck around for probably a good 2-3 years, and in the last 2 has since left. He seems to be doing that thing that he said that he was going to, and make his way south. During this time, of course, you have all sorts of visitors. The overall commerce of this place has greatly increased. It seems like having a well-defended city exactly where you are is helpful to the overall economy. It looks like this is considered on the borders of what could be like outlands. Like there really isn't anything past where you are, which makes you a perfect spot for adventurers looking to go into the Shardlands, these the Echo Shard mountain range that extends out to the east. What do you do?
So after a couple years, Gwen and Philip are raising Theo, and they decide to have a little baby of their own. They have a baby girl after, I think, a couple years. So Gwen is the leader of the Tread Thunder. She actually takes her place, does her duties. Like, there's probably a little bit period of like figuring out what it means to be there, like a leader on the daily basis. She is very open to input from other people, like Arjhan about commerce, and Caelum about like artifact trade and stuff like that. And as far as like actually running the city, Chua, of course, is very helpful there. And I think when they have their daughter Morgan, who is named after her birth mother, she is gonna travel up to Greenreach for a little while. She'll be up there for probably 6 months to a year, and traveling back on occasion to the Tread Thunder clan to take care of business and stuff. But she's going to also establish a school in Greenreach for training fighters, and she's going to, I think in this time, probably like right towards the end of the 5 years, she would establish the Silver Riders, who are halflings who ride on wolfback. After after the babies have grown up, they are going to be one of the first batch of wolf riders. The babies of Cybra, yeah. So they're gonna help up there. Gwen will teach them a few ways so they can keep the city safe from intruders, and from anything to the north, I think.
Well, thankfully, the events that spurred these Silver Riders came none too soon.
Mm-hmm.
As one of the things that you have heard about Greenreach in these last 5 years, it only happens in the winter, and it only happens in the darkest nights of winter. Sometimes people who are out in the dark go missing. And these are people who know these lands. These are people who are kind of on the outskirts of Greenreach towards the mountain range. And, you know, sometimes you think, okay, maybe like they like fell into the lake. Maybe they got lost in the mountain pass. Maybe they did what Philip did. He just like for a moment put on a new face and decided to take off and abandon the life that they had. But it's one person, one halfling specifically, that when you talk to them, they believe beyond a shadow of a doubt that these people are not going missing on their own accord because they believe that they saw someone get taken. What they describe is a mist rolling into the darkness, and they heard a song. They don't know what the song was. They don't know who it belonged to, but they saw figures emerging from that mist to take the halflings. Gwen, from your travels with your friends, from everything that you know, it sounds like that the vampires of the north, the Iskin, are beginning to get a little greedy with their reach. And is it at that point that now, with wolf riders in tow and essentially the beginnings of a standing army, Greenreach is going to learn how to defend itself proper this time around.
Yeah.
Next up, Arjhan. What happens in the first 5 years?
Well, in the first couple of weeks, Arjhan, his eggs hatch, and he becomes the father to two draconian daughters, who, at Tiamat's request, he raises in non-draconic culture, so he's going to be raising them as essentially a single father, while Rasa is usually going to be off in the hells.
Tylera offers her services as a would-be grandma to assist.
No. Absolutely not.
Totally fair.
He names them Titania and Malthyra, but of course, later, like her father, Malthyra would choose a better name for herself, Martina. He brings them from time to time on adventures in to see Rasa whenever she's on leave, but besides that, Arjhan's really just keeping up work with his companies. Tyrant Security continues to help get new adventuring parties started, and some of them even survive longer than a few weeks on the job. He helps out with Gwen, and even like to help get her armies started and get some of the younger people set up. He gets a few of the up and coming warriors from Uvar Skuld and from Greenreach set up in a lighthouse on the edge of the continent, and there's a really unfortunate event where they get wiped out by a remnant of the Cash and Trade Company. That's the story for another stream that's already done. So Arjhan and Gwen are probably going to need to take a little bit of time to figure out how to bring them back to life. Because Arjhan feels real bad about that. And Arjhan is going to also try to expand out Dragon's Drafts. And he's really trying to work with the leaders of, Arask, Shroudport, Cerstelier, Maresville, Verstaine, Vascor, and Uvar Skuld, to try and set up a sort of public service, making sure that like potions of cure disease and healing are able to be provided whenever there's a need in the cities.
Yeah. Now, through your meetings, as well as, talking with a variety of folks, you end up getting funding, which is great. It seems like the Temple of Soon is very much into this idea of like, yes, potions of cure diseases for more people, potions of healing for more people. They are one of your biggest supporters. And it doesn't take long for, once Uvar Skuld is on board, once Shroudport is on board, once the Isle of Arask is on board, especially knowing that you personally were helping out on the ground floor when the city of Vascor fell, this public service is definitely going to take off.
Yeah, it's essentially the Red Talon.
Ooh, I like that. So the Red Talon is now a prominent feature in each of these major cities. If you're injured, if you need healing, if you're feeling a little yucky, go to the Red Talon. I'll take care of Tiamat, of course, is also willing to fund this, because if people are saying, you know, like, thank the gods, I'm healed, and she was the one who sponsored the healing of these people, I mean, that's just free praise. Who doesn't like free praise? What a great time. Okay. So, Cori, your first 5 years.
Cori returns to the Feywild to fully take on her responsibilities as Caelum. Because as it turns out, the person who was handling those responsibilities, at least in part, has now gone on maternity leave.
That's true. She does need somebody to, like, watch over Spring a little bit.
Cori returns the favor. And in fact, I think she is a frequent familiar face in Caelum's household, and establishes herself as a weird, eccentric aunt for Rowan. Spring Cori is going to be by Oliviette's side at all times, because Cori has pledged a part of herself to Oliviette, and as it turns out, that part is a physical part. So, like, whatever Oliviette's aspirations are, Spring Cori is going to tag along.
Okay. Yeah, Oliviette's aspirations at this point, she just wants to see more of the Feywild. She wants a grand tour. That's one of the things that you would promise to her after all things were said and done, so why not?
Easy peasy, absolutely. And that makes the next part of this a lot easier. Spring Cori and Autumn Cori frequently visit so that they can, you know, mind meld and share memories. Mm-hmm. Because as Autumn Cori winds up missing Oliviette a lot more than she anticipated, she's like, I split myself so that I could be with Oliviette all the time, but it's not like I'm with her all the time.
But it's not me all the time.
It's not me all the time.
Not me.
Meanwhile, Summer Cori is gallivanting across the astral sea, going through her rebellious stage. The original plan was for Summer Cori to take on the roles as Coralon, but she's currently going through the refusing the call part of her hero's journey. So she's just out there on like a space motorcycle doing donuts around Skiznabat's ship.
Oh yeah. No, she is, and as a member of the crew, Skiznabat's crew is better for having a literal god, you know, hanging out with them throughout most of this. They are excited. And I think that probably gives them a little bit more courage than they were better suited for. Once again, Skiznabat decides that they are going to sail close to the chaos tides of Limbo. You find yourself as this Cori, as the captain of the Sunsetters for a brief stint, while Skiznabat recovers from becoming a gelatinous cube. A little bit more difficult to speak when he is not a flump with telepathy, but you know, you house him, you feed him bones every once in a while. He seems content.
It's not a spell that turned him into a
no, it was the
gelatinous
tides
cube,
of
no.
chaos. Like you would need to find another high level wizard to do what Caelum did, which was essentially let him die and then reincarnate. And maybe that's Summer Cori's big adventure is trying to like lose this sense of responsibility.
Summer Cori does have I've realized this.
Mm.
Summer Cori does have access to raise dead, which isn't as time sensitive as Revivify.
That's true. He's still a gelatinous cube, and
but
if he
he'd
died
still be
as
a gelatinous cube, huh?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Danae, you're oh shitting the Fae this again.
Listen, I never claimed to be smart.
Caelum just throws in like the true resurrection amulet at you.
Oh, but the thing is that Summer Cori is so stubborn. This does take at least 5 years.
Yeah, this does take. And Skiznabat the entire time is a gelatinous cube, and the rest of the crew is like, if you're our captain, will you make us do that stupid shit again? You're like, no, obviously not. I will make you do other stupid, possibly worse idea related things, but not that. And they seem on board for a captain with a little bit of sense, while Skiznabat, you know, sloughs around the bottom compartments of the ship.
Incredible. Watch me speed run this epilogue and turn a third of my character into a villain. We'll see how far this goes.
That would be incredible. Okay, we are moving on to years 5 through 10. Caelum.
During the 10 years' time, Caelum has picked up an apprentice in Owain, Gwen's brother. He has taught him not the language of the lost, but he is using his life experience to teach Owain to be a responsible wizard. This is his friend's brother. He literally goes, do as I say, not as I do.
Owain will shrug. He's learning magic. Like, he's totally fine with this. But you do catch him experimenting with some unstable ritual circles at certain points. And you realize that, like, as you're talking to him, he is trying to, like, truncate syntax in the magical spell. Like, he's trying to just sort of, like, not necessarily even make it his, but make it faster. Make things quicker.
Would you like a hint, or do you want to work this out yourself?
He will often want to work on it by himself. He will ask you for hints when he is truly stumped, which usually involves a large explosion and then him asking for help.
Oh, Wayne, you woke the baby.
And he just sort of like misty steps away.
Mother Hubber.
Okay. Caelum, I would say during this 5 to 10 year period, while you're busy teaching Owain not to utilize the language of the lost and how to practice magic responsibly, what have you done with the card that was given to you?
There was a very long stint where Caelum had done nothing with the card. He actually had sealed it away for a while until he could get his bearings on what this arcana actually means. Eventually, he does take it out of storage, and against his better judgment, he will confide in Saloon and Mistra to see not only like what origin, where did the card come from, like, you know, the point of origin, but why was it given to him? Yes, it's because, like, a reason for it is he's a magister of Mistra, but also why him? There's probably like people who could use this a bit more than he can since he already has power.
The response that you get requires, unfortunately, for them to bring Amaris in, because Amaris, as a burgeoning deity of magic, needs to be aware of what this is. When you describe the individual who gave you this card and the circumstances therein, you are told that she is known as the Lady of Worlds. She is the spiritual manifestation of the world tree itself, of the very root and essence that ties each and every single multiverse together. The reason that you were given the card, they cannot specifically confirm. But the Fool, as a card in part of this deck, represents change. It represents the ability to alter one's standing. They believe that you were given this card specifically because of your abilities, your magical powers to, unlike many other mages, to freely and easily wield new and different magics, to change them at your whim. If you have been given a card like this, they believe that others have been given cards as well. They are not sure what those cards mean in relation to who has them. And they don't know how many are out in circulation.
I think I might have a way to at least try and find out how many there are. But that's a experiment for another time. I'd like to borrow Maris for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Amaris is down to come and hang out, visit, meet her pseudo younger sibling.
Ah. Peanut butter baby. Ah.
Caelum, towards the end of these 10 years, you hear, and this will be basically like on the cusp of year 10, there are wizards in the Warring Kingdoms, sorcerers, bards, magic users in general, that seem to be wielding a card similar to the one that you have as a magical focus. Something is beginning. Something that began with the Fool. Hey, Gwen. Gwen,
Hi.
what are you doing for the next 5 to 10?
Business as well. The tribe is doing great. Gwen starts to have trouble with Morgan. As she is beginning to grow, it is discovered that Morgan has an affinity for magics. She was raised in the Goliath fashion, in the tribe. Not really given any special treatment, maybe a little bit of special treatment. But after a while, it's too much for Gwen and Shua. So they ask Arjhan for some help in teaching her discipline and control. Her mom says that Morgan gets her attitude from Gwen, her silver tongue from her father, and the rowdiness of the Goliath. So it's super fun. Yeah. And then 10 years later, Theo would be of age in the Goliath tribe to take up in one of the factions. So I think he really wants to get in with the part of the tribe that is dealing with the drow problem that they are still having.
Yeah. Like his parents, he wants to be a scout.
Mm-hmm.
And I think during his scouting mission, not one of his first, but like in the time leading up to it, the Goliath Scouts, the insurgents team that you have dispatched time and time again to kind of map the Underdark, get a good handle on things, they are able to retrieve, and is it Leo or Theo? I always thought it was Leo.
What have I been saying?
You've been saying Theo.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Leo.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sounds good. No, I just wanted to check. I just wanted to confirm. they are able to bring back one of Leo's parents. However, that parent is, they are not surviving upon the return. Leo is, their hopes are not dashed. They believe that their father is still out there somewhere, that they were too hardy. No way were they going to lose. No way were they going to die. And Leo takes it upon himself to become as great a Goliath scout as he as ever was, to eventually one day set out from the tribe in search of his father. And to call it a tribe at this point in time is also almost derivative of the culture that you have begat here at Uvar Skold. Like, they still remember being a tribe. But this is your civilization. These are your people. Leo wants to protect them. And knowing what the Drow have done, knowing what you fought for, knowing what you've all fought for, Leo has a good head on his shoulders. Especially because Grayskull has also taken unto Leo like he was his little brother. And while Grayskull, albeit, is inseparable from you, Gwen, at times, he has found a fast friend in this brave young man.
Yeah, I forgot to say that Grayskull, is just so chuffed to be just chuffed good
Yeah,
or
chuffed.
bad?
Chuff's the right
Yeah,
word.
super happy to be a part of the Tread Thunder clan now in this society, and I think that he tells a lot. Like, people want to know a lot of stories from him about the past and like what they were like back then. And he brings back a few traditions that were lost to time. Let's see, the boulder toss at the Harvest Festival, and a particular fashion that hasn't been seen in 100 years, involving layers of fur and straps.
It's true. He's
People are
very,
into
like,
it.
it's the first winter and people are like, oh, I don't know. Like, we still are bundling up, and he's like, no, this is how you get it done. Like, this is how you prevent all cold. And people are like, brilliant. Fantastic.
Yeah.
What a smart man.
Yes. So that, Gwen and Philip are, I think Philip is still adventuring, though he might be slowing down at this point. It's been off having adventures of his own.
Philip, at this point, I think he doesn't necessarily adventure so much anymore, but at this point, he's more like a sales rep for the Red Talon, Arjhan's like med clinics kind of thing.
Definitely not the Red Cross.
Definitely not the Red Cross. This is very different, legally distinct, and does not break the Geneva Convention. Philip was initially doing deliveries, but it seems like that Silver Tongue is able to work its magic to get people really on board for a almost universal healthcare, or at least heavily discounted. If you think of what Philip is doing probably by the end of that 10 years, have you ever been to a doctor's office and they always tell you, oh, the rep came by and they have like 1 million pens and all of these extra pads? That's Philip. He's the one handing out these pens and pads of paper and like samples. Like, he's very good at giving stuff away to convince people that they should do that thing.
Yeah. But Gwen is still going up to Greenreach from time to time, mostly just staying at the tribe, though. I think she is very much comfortable in the city and making sure that her people are happy and healthy and everything. She's learning about money. For a while, she was hand waving it like, yeah, you guys know what you're doing, just handle it. I think Arjhan sat her down one day and was like, look, this is what the books are.
And not even that. It's probably one of those like, okay, I want to show you. This is how much money you had at the beginning of this quarter. This is how much money you have at the end. You have spent more money on feasts and parties for everyone. Morale is already good. We probably cut back on some of those.
I don't understand. What do you mean?
So
Fees cost money. They're just food.
So at this point, you need to start thinking about taxation. But not equally. Some people can afford to pay more, so they need to. We'll work on it.
Yeah, like, we're kind of the only stop for, like, a while. We could probably charge the people who come in a little bit more than the people who are already living here. We could call it, like, a tourist tax. Because we'll give them tours when they enter the city.
Arjhan gives her all the things that he has already implemented in first day.
Oh.
Just copy my homework, but don't make it look too similar.
Or do.
Or do.
Or do. It's fine.
Fair enough. Speaking of, Arjhan, 5 to 10 years. What's on the docket?
Well, whenever Gwen asks for help with Morgan, Arjhan, takes a long drink of coffee and gives a solemn nod, having spent the last 5 years raising a baby druid and a baby wizard. So another little magical girl at this point is literally child's play. But at the end of this time frame, Arjhan is, hitting his 30s, which is close to midway in a normal Dragonborn life. And he is, starting to feel it a little bit. So, his midlife crisis is that he is going to get to ask for Tiamat's blessing to scale Mount Celestia. And use that journey to meditate on what he wants out of life. But at the end of that journey, if he, makes it, is that he will try to talk to Bahamut.
You do make it. And when you reach the top, there is a series of clay buildings. There's a high wall. And inside of this wall, you can see that there is a large, what looks almost like a training area. And you see that there is a humanoid man surrounded by 7 yellow canaries that seems to be practicing some sort of martial form. He looks monastic in nature, but upon seeing you, there is this sort of like tilt of his head.
Would Tiamat have warned me about Fizbin?
I think she would have, yes. She would have given you as much information on her brother as she possibly could have if she knew that's where you were going.
Yeah, I mean, Arjhan will, just seeing him, just sort of, kneel, or like, cross-legged sit.
And you hear the sound of sandals on tile till they are in front of you. Then there is a shuffling noise, and you see this individual sit cross-legged in front of you, their head still at a tilt. And in Draconic, they say, "You are far from home, my friend."
I needed to take a journey for a few reasons. but I wanted to tell you the experiences I've had with your sister.
You aren't here to try and kill me, right?
I don't know if I've actually slayed a god or not. The things that were like gods, certainly. I'm not here to do that. And I'll tell him everything that Tiamat did to help save the world. The advice that she's given to other up-and-coming godlings. The rocky relationship that we started on and how we grew past that. And how her praises are being sung now on Corsair.
All of this from my sister.
Yes.
Not to belittle or deride. Have you had any mind-altering magics lately? You speak earnestly.
When it comes to her, I think you really heralded the truth.
And why is it? So you have come all this way. I watched you climb for quite some time. To tell me not that she has changed, but that you have changed her. She has changed, if that is what you say, and I will have to see to believe. But if you, through your interactions, have caused this change, you have my thanks, I suppose.
Nobody can change another person. They can bring out better sides of them, sure, but they can't make things that weren't there appear. I didn't change Tiamat. She decided to be better. But I didn't come this way for any purpose. I made this trip because I needed time to think. You just happened to be a decent enough diversion.
Surprisingly, that may be one of the nicest things anyone has said about me in a long time. Did you find what you were looking for?
I think so.
May I ask you something? Do you think that old wounds can heal?
I do. They may not. They may leave a scar. Other people may, or they may fester. They may get worse. They may need to be treated, but they can heal.
I will reflect on the news that you have brought, to know that my sisters receive praise that is not attributed to. There are many cultists that have sang her name. There are many cultists that have sang her name in an attempt to destroy the plane, in an attempt to utilize her wrath. I will consider what you have told me, and I will reflect. I do not wish to continue to house ill will towards my sister if she is truly better. Your name is Arjhan, correct?
My name is Arjhan. Of the Chromatic Tyrant. It's the EO and founder of Tyrant Security. It's been so long since I've given all my titles. And he'll rattle them off.
And Bahamut listens and says, Arjhan, CEO of Tyrant Security, CEO of Dragon's Drafts, savior of Chorus Aired, whether the people of the land know it or not. I do not wish for you to have made this journey in vain. You said that it was for self-reflection. I am understanding of that and the pursuit of that as well. May I give you something for you to deliver to my sister?
Do I have to walk back down the mountain?
I can see to it that we are able to send you wherever you would like to go. This message does not have to be given to her just now, and I don't wish to make it out so that you are just some errand boy. But it would mean a lot if you were the one to give this to her. And he will reach into his robe over where his chest is, and there is a slight tugging motion, and he hands a tiny platinum scale.
It's maybe awkward, but it was equally as awkward whenever it happened with your sister. Can I also give you a hug?
You may.
Bug Fistman take the thing and
There is the sound of like the canaries start like chattering a little bit louder when you embrace him. And he's like, no, it's fine, it's fine. And he just lets himself be hugged, and then brings his arms around you, and his embrace is warm.
It's very tiny.
He is very tiny. He's a small man.
Big dragon, small man. And he'll take the scale and leave.
Okay. Bahamut will send you wherever you want to go.
I'm, going back home and then going to the hills.
Sounds good.
Because I don't want to hold on to this much longer than I need to.
Okay.
This is a very pricey scale.
It is. And when you deliver this to Tiamat, she looks at it, and you see that there are tears that well in the sides of her eyes as she clutches this scale to her hand and brings it close to her chest. And she will continue to have like a tight grip on this scale as she gives you a hug. Less awkward than the first. And you hear her say, "Thank you." Having earned Tiamat's thanks for delivering her the scale of her brother to her, these very small chest scales. Couldn't hear you.
I know what I want. Out of this life. And when my daughters are old enough to go out on their own, I may need to ask your help in that matter. And that's it.
She will nod and tell you whatever it is. Consider it done. Cori, 5 to 10 years.
5 to 10 years, baby.
Years 5 to 10.
Time is so funny in the Feywild. 5 to 10 years on the natural plane could be any amount of time.
Yeah.
Like literally any. Either a really long time or a really short time.
It's true.
But I think during this time, first of all, Autumn Cori continues her duties as Caelum. Summer Cori probably starts to finish up her adventures in the Astral Sea. Spring Cori has a bit of a crisis.
Yeah.
Which is to say, her purpose in life is to love Oliviette. And loving somebody and devoting your life to somebody is not necessarily the one reason you can live. So I think that as time goes on, the different Cories start to develop on their own. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they start to become kind of their own people. And don't get me wrong, like, being with Oliviette is bliss. Like, she loves Oliviette with all her heart, but she's still Cori. And
Yeah.
Cori has never settled down for a moment. So I think Oliviette and Spring Cori finish up their adventures in the Feywild. Where does Oliviette want to go from there?
Oliviette, at this point, wants to return to the sea. She wants to sail again. She enjoyed the Feywild. She loved seeing everything that it had the opportunity to show. She's loved to a degree taking care of her niece, that being little Wonder Jonquil, your or I guess her sister-in-law, technically.
I think
It's
that's
not a
what...
cousin at that point, 'cause that's
Yeah.
your dad.
Yeah.
Yep. She's enjoyed helping like take care of little Wonder Jonquil. I think that she rightfully would want to return to the sea. I think that she, at this point, having shown her a place that is familiar and loved by you, her having shown you places that are familiar and loved by her, I think that she would want to sail somewhere new, to go somewhere that she hasn't been before. And rightfully, she has never been across the sea. She has
Awesome.
never been to Aldera before.
That's the new great adventure. Now, when I say like summer or spring Cori starts having like, a quote unquote crisis, like she is not necessarily aware of this. I think that like it's something that needs to be told to her. Like, hey, you need more than one reason to live.
I think that I don't think anybody tells her. I think you're right on that one. But I think what happens is that it is difficult to travel the world and not have it change you, and not see the way that everyone lives and to see the way that everyone exists in a scope outside of your own. It is borderline criminal to not be affected by travel in some form or fashion. And I think that is something that would probably hit spring Cori during the travel, is that seeing the way that people interact, seeing the way that people work and the way that things are. People dedicate themselves to all sorts of things. People love a variety of things. Like she would meet on your travels, you would meet a blind painter who is only blind later in life, but the one thing that they paint, and the one thing that they paint well, is the cityscape from where they grew up, usually from a specific angle. They describe that they can hear the color as they're painting it, and that's what guides their brush. You would end up meeting a man who claims to love music. And that music is the one thing that they truly understand, and is the one thing that they live for. You meet a woman, and her entire love is film, or not film, but plays, mummers shows. But the way that you hear these people describe the things that they love, these non-humanoid recipients of that affection, I think it is hard for spring Cori, because spring Cori, that is their whole thing. Like, they love everybody. Everybody should have all of this. And like, they've dedicated themselves to this one partner, but seeing the way that love is expressed genuinely, like there is a old woman who has been making curry in Ardenthal since she was young. She is old now, and she still loves making curry. She works at the same place, she works at the same store, has since she was a child. And the thing that she enjoys most is that when she makes rice for people, that first scoop from the first set of rice that day, that is hers. That way she knows that it was made correctly. And I think that all of these things sort of have this moment for spring Cori, that this sense of love isn't just a person-to-person thing. You can love and be passionate about anything that you want. And I think, if anything, that's probably like a terrifying realization of like, do I love my partner as much as this woman loves Cori? Do I love like this adventure as much as this person loves the memory of their town that they grew up in? Like, and I think that there is like that long moment during that 5 to 10 years where it's not that she's necessarily like you said, like, it's not like she's not devoted, but perspective and understanding become a lot more apparent. Whereas Fall Cori, obviously, is in love with the idea of being the Caelum. That is the thing that they have done. They miss their wife, obviously. But they know that as soon as they merge back with Spring Cori, all of that's going to happen. And I imagine it's like year 11. It's like, okay, Spring Cori, pop back in here. What the fuck is this?
Actually, I mean, when it comes down to it, like, I think that, like, there is a long stretch where they haven't, like, melded memories in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, Spring Cori is legitimately afraid to do it because she's worried that it's going to change her enough that she doesn't love things the way she used to.
I'm here for it. I would say during this 5 to 10 year period, you would also at some point meet up with Laurel, who at this point, when you go to Laurel's Grove, it is extended from a small ring of trees around where she was or where they were to several acres of land that is all dedicated. Like, there are like scientific texts, histories, like things that aren't necessarily magic that have been like put onto the trees in this area. It seems like this is more they are known as having this deep understanding of things. And Hadorai, obviously, being the individual that he is, has had a difficult time not telling everybody about this wicked cool tree baby that came out of an arm. But Laurel begins to have... They begin to be able to replicate themselves. Because some of the things that Cori has learned and that Cori has known translate to Laurel in a way that they don't truly understand. Laurel Prime is older, and has rooted themselves, but they have gained the ability to create almost copies of themselves, to experience the world in a way that they could not by pen and paper. And I think that on one of your trips, one of these Laurels does join you for the sole purpose of going to experience the ocean. They want to know what it's like to be at the sea. Okay. Years 10 to 15. Caelum.
Years 10 through 15 are low contact for Caelum. He has disappeared into the Warring Kingdoms to investigate the Arcana. Kind of in that Caelum fashion, he doesn't really tell anyone.
Okay. I mean, he probably, like, tells his partner.
He tells Diantha. He's like, hey, by the way, there's some really big magic stuff going down. I need to go investigate. I'll be back by lunch.
Okay.
He does not reappear.
Yeah. Well, she's probably like, time dilation with the material plane. I'm sure he's out at lunch, and you're over there being like, magic spell, bring down meteors. Like, it is one of those things. I feel like you're not like presenting yourself as this high level wizard, because like no one's gonna talk to you.
He travels as a man, as Dracula once would before Lisa died in Castlevania. Spoilers.
It's episode 1, baby. It's fine. During your travels, during this 5-year period, just as your deities had described, people capable of magic, and some who previously weren't, in possession of cards similar to you. These cards have a variety of typefaces. You're pretty sure that you've seen at least the better representation of some of the cards, like a good, I want to say, like quarter of them. But the interesting thing, when you meet these people, their magic is unstable. Their magic does not operate in the same way that you would expect it to. And in one instance, you were met with a mage who, full of themselves, attempted to fight you, using this magic that they believed was beyond the realm. You defeated them, and as they lay, no longer breathing, as they were an individual who would fight to the very death, you look through their belongings and you pull out their card. And this mage specialized in fire magic, and the card that you see is the sun. And as you hold this card, you see the typeface burn away. And underneath, there's the picture of a smiling devil. And then that card burns away. After this interaction, whenever you meet another mage that has one of these cards and you defeat them, you take their card, you look, same thing. That image will burn away and reveal a devil underneath it. During your travels, what you learn is that there is a group of mages, much in the same way that the Silver Quill is a up-and-coming mages guild in Alira, and at this point is rather notable for the research and the projects that it's done. There is a almost shadowed organization that was began by an individual named Brimaldus. And Brimaldus, his group, he called the Brimaldus Mysticar. The people of the Warring Kingdoms know wizards who utilize these cards for their magic as wicked brims. You do not ever find the source of these cards during this time. But what you know from the people that you were able to talk to, who were willing to talk to you as this unstable magic wrote their final notes. The one who gave this to them said that if they were to use it, they could harness the power between the stars, that they would have magic beyond their understanding. The individual was always cloaked, and the notable thing was that they wore a very wide hat, purple in coloration, with the pointed cone in the center having what looks like a single solitary eye viewing from it.
Hate that. Obviously, not obviously, but Caelum doesn't kill if he doesn't need to. He's kind of over that thing. Maybe like if they were particularly shitty individuals, no remorse. But if it's like, I'm using my card to grow a field in this desolate wasteland to feed my people, yeah, you can keep doing that. That's fine.
You find individuals who are trying. The cards warp and the cards change. These that were given that you know as they burn away have these devil-like qualities to them, there is no peace for them. And it seems like these cards, much in the same way a virus would, change the very nature of these people. Until eventually you meet one other individual. Is an old woman who goes only by the Hermit. She's lived alone most of her whole life. And when speaking with the Hermit, she lets you know that the devil that you've seen is what is commonly known as a puppet master, someone who actively pulls the strings. Whatever it is these wicked brims are planning, they are not doing in broad daylight. And as any wizard worth their salt knows, it's not about rushing. Sometimes a good plan, a good spell, takes years to research.
Calm down there, Sararak.
Yes, yes. Her name is Cassie. The Hermit, I mean.
In the final days before returning back to Diantha and Rowan and his family, Caelum stays with Cassie as the official curator for the Hall of Memories for the Raven Queen. He tries to make her passing peaceful.
She's not dead.
Oh, I thought she was like human.
No.
She's like,
I'm not dead yet.
No,
I'm
she
not
is
dead
human,
yet.
but she's not like dead. She's just old.
She's just old.
She's just old.
He'll just he'll check up on her from time to
Here, let
time.
me just help you into this grave.
Here.
I'm not dead.
Bring
I
out your
feel
dad.
happy.
You'll be stone dead in a moment.
Yeah, no, Cassie is very well alive. She's just
Okay.
very old.
That's my bad for misunderstanding.
No worries.
Yeah. I think Caelum had gone on this stint for at least 3 out of the 5 years. Comes back to Rowan being like 13.
Yeah.
He gets the Order of the Silver Quill together and relays this information like, hey, by the way, this is happening in the Warring Kingdoms.
There is fervor about this. And then it devolves into wizards talking about like, well, should we go and involve ourselves in the Warring Kingdoms? If we do, we represent the Silver Quill. That will look bad on Alira. Like, it becomes like less about what is the right thing to do and gets bogged down in bureaucracy and political ramifications.
This is why I should have changed the veto powers inside the Silver Quill, and now I'm regretting it.
Yep, it's too late. There are too many members of the Silver Quill to implement a like de facto change. You had your opportunity at the very beginning.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's all right. Who knows? Maybe you can convince them all to like rewrite the rules at some point.
If we don't act... Wait, hold on. It's 15 years. If we don't act now, who knows what happens in the Warring Kingdoms with all of these puppet masters and this association. At least let's try to get eyes on it.
Three members of the Silver Quill, who we will name in Season 2, give up their membership in order to investigate this in a proper fashion in a way that does not come back to their country. They will do this for you.
I'm making splinter cells now?
Effectively, yes.
I think
One's name is Tom Clancy, clearly.
the other is Jason Bourne, and then the final one is who's the main actor for 24? No, the guy.
Kiefer Sutherland?
The guy, the who he plays. Was it Jack Bowers?
Jack Bauer.
Jack Bauer.
Okay.
I think if it's just those three, Caelum does give up his seat. The Silver Quill is established now. There are members who will look after it for him, and this is a calamity he needs to avert.
Okay. And Caelum, you set your sights with these three young rough and tumble wizards who are willing to put their lives on the line to investigate the next great mystery.
He's not a deadbeat dad. He does pay attention to Rowan and Amaris. This does not consume him.
Oh. That sounds like the words of somebody who just got consumed. Like, this isn't... Like, look, it's just one whale. I hunt it every year.
It's my white whale.
But
Autumn
Caelum,
Cori tries to pick up the slack.
Could it be?
Caelum,
Sorry.
if you're a good father, how will your child grow up to be a player character?
Easily enough, they have a giant chip on their shoulder for everyone being amazing, and they have something to prove. Caelum would like to also enlist the help of Summer Cori.
That's what I was all. You guys are all over my shit. I was gonna have Summer Cori just be like all cool in a corner, like light up a cigarette and be all like, "So when are you gonna tell me about this?"
You were with me when we went to the Warring Kingdoms. You saw me
Okay,
duel
but
a man to the death.
Okay, but I get to be Jack Bauer.
That's Summer Cori's undercover name. It's Jack Bauer.
Oh my god!
I love that. I love that for
Wait.
Summer Cori.
When exactly does Summer Cori get enlisted for this? It's like
It'd probably be a couple of
during-
months after the initial planning phases of it.
Gotti. All right. Yep. Summer Cori helps.
Caelum turns to one of the rough and tumble wizards. So that makes you MacGyver then, essentially our D'Artagnan.
It's an artificer.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they are all taking undercover names. And this is one of the best undercover names that they've ever heard. What's a MacGyver? They don't know. And nobody knows.
I
and that's
can't
why it's
wait in
provocative.
season 2 to watch all of these characters die and have to avenge them.
Do you mean Summer Cori is gonna die?
Maybe. I don't know.
Who's to say?
What happens when a god dies?
Find out next time.
What happened? How does a part of a god die? You forget to love her.
Oh,
Oof.
You forget to cherish her.
poor Gale. Speaking of names that start with the letter G, Gwen.
Good transition.
10 to 15 years.
Question for you.
Yeah.
This vampire problem and this drow problem,
Yeah.
are either of those getting solved in these 5 years?
Unfortunately not.
Mm.
The vampire problem is... It is an issue because you know what it is, and you know where it's coming from. But if you think about how strong your friends are, you guys defeated the worm that walks. Your group also had an incredibly difficult time going toe-to-toe with 12, 15 vampires in the middle of space. This is an entire civilization of old, ancient vampires that has been built up around a stone that allows them to walk in the sunlight. It is easier to defend and to defeat them where they are, and to try and blockade any entrances that they could into Greenreach.
Mhm.
but to go and face this essentially country built
Yeah.
for the purpose of these vampires who are in direct contact with Shar.
Yeah. Fucking Shar.
It is going to be, the planning stage alone would probably be that 5 years, let alone convincing people to go into the heart of vampire country in a place where they are all powerful.
That country.
You'd need to get some specialists for sure.
Yeah. I think Gwen would enlist the help of I mean, she would want to enlist the help of Summer Cori, but Summer Cori's busy. So Spring Cori or Autumn Cori will do. No, I'm kidding. She's just so cool.
She smokes now.
I know. So I think that she would enlist, as far as like protection, like doing a blessing of sorts on the border, trying to figure out how to help with our paladins to keep them at bay. But I think that I mean, they're 15 years later. A lot of the boom in Goliath babies, are not quite of age, but coming of.
Oh, they're right there.
Yeah, boy, they're at the cusp. So it is and not only that the city has grown to harbor not only Goliaths but other adventurer types as well, who have decided to stay and learn their ways. It's still slightly guarded as to like their specific tribal rituals and rites and stuff like that. They still have those. They allow people to like observe at this point, but there are some things that are still sacred to them that they would keep to themselves. But now that all of these Goliath babies are now teenagers and growing, they're kind of have this like boom of people like coming into the workforce, coming into like the protection of things. So it really just kind of hits like an ascension as they come to being more of a powerhouse in their own right in this area, especially. I think they would have obviously opened up for any other Goliaths who would like to join them. And oddly enough, they have a few halflings from Greenreach who have decided to sort of immerse themselves in the culture, much like Gwen did when she arrived many years ago. And they're kind of they've kind of become the elite.
They're old money.
Yeah. No. I was gonna say they're like an elite task force of like black ops, like can get in, get out real easy.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just where that stuff goes. Greenreach has flourished. I think that they are more open to trade with like especially the Goliaths and the Tread Thunders, and so the societies not that they have melded, but they are borrowing from each other as far as like food and traditions, types of like how they use clothing and that sort of stuff. So there is a little bit of a mishmash. It's less cut and dry. This is Goliath stuff. It's like, yeah, and especially with all of the other people coming in, they're more open to ideas from others. And boy, do they know how to use spices now.
Yeah. If
and
you want good
food,
you go to Uvar Skold.
Yeah.
Like, it has put itself on the map as like, man, I know it's like 80 miles out of the way, but like, oh my God.
And I think it's like Korean and Thai food, where it's like, if you're not a Goliath and you come in and you're like, I want spicy 10, they give you a spicy 7, because the Goliath bellies, they can handle that. Not many other races. The draconic types definitely can as well. I feel like there are some brave souls who are like, no, give me the real shit, and then the shit happens later. Gwen personally has settled down a bit more. I think she is. I want to say she's kind of like Thor in the Avengers movies, where she'll like there'll be a problem, and she'll, her tribe will handle it, people in Green Ridge will handle it, but if it gets too much, she comes in on a bolt of goddamn lightning and starts
Oh
to
yeah.
handle shit.
Fuck
And
yeah.
Philip settled down. She has a teenager now. I think Morgan's probably 13 at this point, and she is more disciplined, but still they have her and Gwen butt heads a lot because, again, Gwen understands what magic is, but she is so stubborn that she's like, I don't know, what is this new math? What old math was great. What is that? She's just learning all this new
Math
stuff.
is math.
Math is math. Yeah, Leo is, fully of age at this point, and in what is mid-20s.
I think at this point in his mid-20s, this is when Leo decides that he is once and for all going to find his dad.
Mm-hmm.
That he knows that since he was a kid, people have told him that his parents were dead. He has refused to believe. And I think when Leo decides that they are going to go out on Arok back, I think Grayskull would offer to go with him as a guardian.
Yeah, I like that. It's one of those situations where Gwen wouldn't. This is something he needs to handle. Yeah. She is there. She's like Luffy in the arc where what's her name?
Nami?
Nami, yeah, when Nami is like trying to deal with her own shit, and like as soon as he asks for help, she's there, but he's like, you gotta handle this. If you handle it, I trust you to do what you gotta do. And especially with Grace, I think Grayskull would have offered, but Gwen also really appreciates it because that's her baby, that's her boy, going off. And do you think Harbanon would go with?
I think she would. I think she'd offer to go. So it's these three Goliaths, one of them who is, basically a storm giant, all decide that they are going to go into the Shard Mountain Range. They're going to go into the Shardlands. Yeah.
Yeah. Find out. And then Owain is still in training. Owain is, as a halfling, doesn't come of age until they're 33. So.
Oh God, does Owain go with Caelum to the Warring Kingdoms?
That's up to Caelum if Caelum wants to take him.
Gwen can't stop him. I can tell him no, but he's gonna come along anyway. You know the boy.
Yeah, I do. I think. I think he goes mom's soup in hand, and not. I think Gwen will. I was like, Gwen would give him an axe, but no, maybe just like a knife, something from her to him. Maybe get Arjhan to make him something special, like a focus, or give him a lot of potions, and maybe get Cori to bless something on the way.
There is another option for young Owain. You are all still friends with the Archmage of Ardenthal.
Oh, duh. Yeah.
The land across the sea.
Yeah.
If you don't feel like he is...
send the boy to school.
Send the boy to school. If you don't feel like he's old enough, send him to the best teacher.
That's true.
Alindra Stonemantle, she is old. She's old at this point. She was already like getting a little... Like she was already like older at this point. But like you could tell like she's got... Like her hair, blonde, still graying. Like it's gone from like that goldeny sheen to more of like that silvery color. And she's more than happy to take on a new student. Caelum, she will recognize that he was your apprentice. If given the opportunity and the permission, should you so will it, she will take him on as her apprentice.
Yeah, for sure. I could not ask for a better teacher, honestly.
Alindra will teach him everything she knows. Well, not everything. There are certain things that you shouldn't teach other folks.
I love that Levi was called the elite halfling team, small team 6.
Love them.
That's probably the nickname that the Goliaths have given them.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't that be a
Because there's 6
3
of them.
then? They're half
You can
size.
change one thing to make the joke work. Either it's SEAL Team 3 or it's Small Team 6. Not both.
Thank you. And I guess I have a question for Arjhan to know if, as far as like trading goes, and I think that Gwen would want a quicker way to get between, because I think she does go visit Arjhan a lot, as much as she can, because she does miss like the old days, and when she wants to go dick around, she goes to go see him.
When you say quicker way, you mean faster than like our normal, the normal like trade stuff.
Well, I mean, like, just for Gwen, like, to kind of teleport over there or something like that.
Y'all have a magic house
Yeah.
and a metal dragon that can fly through space.
True. So she could be like, hey, send the house. I'm coming over. Gideon! To the dragons!
Arjhan will give you the key.
Yes. She will only abuse it a little.
So Gwen's going to be in charge of the house, so there will just be moments of time where Arjhan just doesn't have a way in.
That's fair. But I think maybe like setting up I think Gwen would, now that she's settled in to like home life and like staying in one spot, I think that she would want to like set up a bi-monthly meetup for Arjhan and anyone else who can make it, as far as like, hey, let's get together, talk about things, see how things are going with you, like do the dish, sort of give the
Get
tea.
some brunch.
Yeah, get brunch. Lots of Bloody Marys, mimosas, all that stuff.
100. I like it. Next up, Arjhan. Years 10 through 15.
So whenever the vampire stuff had started to ramp up, in the early day, like 2 years after, Arjhan was told by one of the group of Tyrant Security about the nearby town of Silverford and the Sanguine Order of the Sentinel Beast that was there. So Arjhan does have a contact. He never goes back to the Sentinel or to the Sanguine Orders, but he does work with at least the Sentinel Beast, to just let them know that Verstane can be used as like a dead drop for them, that they will be safe there as long as they don't fuck with him. And, you know, every now and then when one of the hunters passes through and goes to the spa, goes to the hot springs, they might find that, you know, somebody has put a lot of like whole dossiers and stuff into their clothes, but whenever they were getting taken care of.
Hell yeah.
So over the years, as things have ramped up, there may be a lot of blood hunters that showed up around Greenreach and the other places where reports of the mist and people going missing have come through. I don't know how successful they are, especially after all the people that we killed, but all the blood hunters we killed. Yeah. Monster hunters know about it.
It's true. You also are friends with the monster hunters in Certs Hellier. They typically stay underground monster hunting, but they are willing to go above ground if necessary.
One of the, I mean, besides that, it's just been a lot of focusing on Verstein and the companies and making sure that they are in a good place for him to step back and just let function without his oversight. One of the pieces of infrastructure in Verstein that probably did take a while would be a teleportation circle lined with echo shards. Specifically for in the case of another multiversal crisis, that Verstein be a haven not just for the Arjhan of this plane, but the multiversal echoes. We'll worry about the
that's a season
quantum,
two.
we'll worry about the quantum suicide implications of that later. But that's a thing that will exist.
Okay.
But really, while people are going into the Warring Kingdoms and fighting vampires and everything, Arjhan is just really focused on, you know, his city, his companies, and his daughters. But toward the end of this, whenever they are old enough where they're getting ready to leave and go off on their own adventures, go to school, or wherever they want to go, Arjhan gets ready to ask Tiamat for her help to get what he wants out of life, which is to grow ancient with his mate, which means truly and permanently staying a dragon.
Yeah. When you ask for this, Tiamat is more than willing to give this to you. And she says, do you wish to have the abilities to return to a more bipedal, door-friendly state?
Yeah.
Understood. Many years ago, when your friend Cori was learning the ropes as to what it meant to be a deity, they asked me something. It was a request for you. And it is at this point that I would like to make good on a promise I made to an old friend. When you become a dragon, when you take on this pure form, one thing that you had always feared was that you would look like your predecessor. I want you to think long and hard about what it is, what skin you would feel most comfortable wearing. My gift to you is to be the person who you wish to be the dragon you were born to be.
Every time I've taken that form, it looked like the spitting image of my father. It was jarring. It was uncomfortable. It felt wrong. To feel good in it, when I see myself reflected in her eyes, I don't see him. I see me. The skin that I would be comfortable in is mine. Exactly as it was.
And that is exactly as it will be. And Tiamat steps closer to you.
Want to do an insight check?
Yeah. Roll insight. This is the one dice roll we're getting out of this.
Because that body is the body that Rasa fell in love with, but it is also the body that Tiamat has fucked. How does she feel about that?
How does Rasa feel about it, or Tiamat?
How does Tiamat feel about it?
Oh. Tiamat, I'm going to say you don't even need to roll. The understanding that you get from Tiamat is that you, to her, have never looked like Tarlayan in that form. It is similar in the way that it is familial, but to Tiamat, the way that you wear that skin, the way that you carry yourself, the difference in the difference in your musculature as a draconian, the way that it translated into being a full-blooded dragon, to her there was never a one and the same.
Okay. So I can rest easy knowing that Tiamat is not thinking about me during that. Okay.
No. Tiamat's been she's been having a great time with your
I don't know.
Dad-ish.
No, we
can pass that point.
We're good.
Yeah. He's doing consort things. It's fine. No, to Tiamat, it is, I mean, again, it's the same way in you're like, oh, you look like your dad, but oh, you still got like your mom in you, like that kind of thing. Like, it doesn't matter like how close the familial resemblance is. It can be strong. It can be lesser. There's always going to be things about it that are reminiscent of that of your lineage. But to her, you have never. She recognizes all of her children. Yeah.
It would probably be a little bit after the end of the 15 years, but that is the form that Arjhan would take.
She would gladly give that to you. The way that she does is that she would, like I said, at that time, she would take a step forward. She would embrace the sides of your head, pull it down, and just give you a kiss on the forehead. And that is how you have received her blessing. So that is the end of Arjhan's 15 years. Hey, Cori. Years 10 to 15. What's going on over there?
I think after 15 years, all three Cories reunite for the first time in all this time. And I think that they make it a deal to show up at Laurel's Grove so that Laurel can get the scoop.
Yeah.
And they all catch up on like what's been going on with the three of them. And I think that they realize that like 15 years for an Eldrin, that's not a lot of time. They have each changed a lot in that time. And it's kind of something that they didn't really consider. But thinking about Tiamat and what happens when she splits up, it's not really that surprising. I think that they each learn something during their time apart. Spring Cori learns love, but like in a new way, like in a cosmic way, in a way that she. So like the book on Eldrin in 5th edition talks about how Eldrin lived for so long that they will oftentimes spend time just meditating on the way that a leaf falls. Cori has spent so much time running about and doing things and staying busy and like help, save the world, save the world, save the world. Like Spring Cori has finally had the time to slow down and live the way an Eldrin normally does. And she has learned to love the world in that way. Meanwhile, Summer Cori is fully rejecting her position as a god. She represents the part of Cori that always resented the gods in the like, you're so powerful, people look up to you so much and you do nothing for them. And she's like, and now I'm that person. Now I'm the person who can't do anything to help people. And so like she has started to like turn a lot of that anger inwards. Autumn Cori has just kind of been cruising in the Feywild. For the first time, she has felt like she's where she's supposed to be, doing what she needs to do, and that she doesn't need to worry about anything anywhere else. And the fact that her other two selves have been struggling so much kind of takes her aback. And so they all agree to continue meeting back at Laurel's Grove at least once every 100 years to try and figure this whole thing out.
Okay. And I think towards the end of that 15 years, Cori, specifically Fall Cori, you would hear the rumblings of a conspiracy. A conspiracy against the season of death. Because as it turns out, that when you replace a deity with a new one, there are people who don't particularly like the change of order. But what is interesting, notably, is that it's not the Shadar Kai themselves that began this. This conspiracy began with a group of 13 former elven wizards who have been biding their time in the plane of shadow, turning into what the monster manual would describe as a Nagpa, Nagpa. These very strange vulture-like creatures that are looking to steal upon the cosmic flux that exists at the heart of the Raven Queen in an attempt and a desire to bring that to themselves. Furthermore,
Oh, John.
during that 10 to 15 year in the Shadowfell, the city that belonged to the Hogrim Empire disappears. In that 10 to 15 year stretch, Caelum and Summer Cori, while traveling through the Warring Kingdoms, hear of an entire kingdom shrouded in shadows that has inserted itself into the land. They call themselves the Hogrim.
Uh-oh.
And as we...
Conveniently, Summer Cori, who's just gotten back from the Cori convention. Oh, that ain't right.
Wait a fucking second.
Yeah.
Is that the... Oh, that's the bloody Hogren Empire.
Oh no.
As these conspiracies take place, as new lands are generated before our very eyes, as new forms of magic take hold into this unstable land, and friends continue to meet up as often as they can to catch up on the news, that is where we are going to call it for our epilogue. So I'd like to say once again, thank you to everybody who decided to stop by and join us for this wonderful season of Dungeons and Dragons. Thank you to these fantastic players for indulging in my whims and letting me add little sprinkles into their epilogues as well. I had a blast this campaign, and I know that I'm going to have a blast in the next one. So I'd like to say thank you to these players for putting up with my bullshit once again this week. And we'll see all of you guys next time. All right, everybody. Bye-bye. Wait, no, fuck.
Yeah, what about our send-off?
It's okay. I mean, I'm just going to let you have it, but...
Yeah, you know.
Hey, RJ, where can we find you? What do you do, I guess?
It just felt so natural. I was
Yeah,
going
it
for
did. Yeah, well, it was fun. Anyway, hey everybody, RJ here. You can catch me at RJustice on Twitter, Twitch, Blue Sky, TikTok. I'm editing a video I think y'all would like, so that's gonna go up on my YouTubes. You can catch me here on Mondays for our new thing that we're gonna do, and yippee-ki-yay, it's gonna be fun. Can I talk about it?
Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon, go right ahead.
So going forward, starting after the new year, correct?
2024, Q1 2024. We're gonna give like
Quarter
a video
one.
game related opening for that one.
We're gonna do all the comms like it's an E3 video game, like he's in the house. We're gonna be playing D&D 4th edition, run by the lovely Danae Keener of DanaeKeener.com. It's going to be my first time playing 4E, and it's going to be cowboy setting. I'll be playing a guy named Kid. It's going to be fun. You can catch me also on Thursdays over at the Hype Goblins, but not this Thursday because I'm going to be over at PAX. A couple of us are going to be over at PAX, actually. So if you see us walking the floor, come up and say hi. I'm a hugger. I don't know about everyone else. Also on Saturdays over at GGK for Blades in the Dark, and also Sunday mornings where we're doing a Pathfinder game. Also, you can hear me as the handler for
Agent
Sunday
Yates.
nights, Agent Yates, and apparently my performance this week was very good. DanaeKeener.com.
Hello, everybody. I'm LBHackEmUp. You can find me at LBHackEmUp on the Twitters and the Twitches, the Blue Skies, everything that RJ said, but you can also find the Hack Recklessly podcast on Spotify. We did a 3-episode, it was a one-shot with Nerd Immersion, Indestructo Boy, and the Dungeon Dad that I finally got up. All the episodes are up there, and I'm working on. I did a game with North Wolf, Latinas Against Spooky Shit, and Cujo Plays Games, where they were in a city in Maine that had a strange fog come over the town. So I'm going to be editing that. It should be up next month. I don't know how many episodes it's going to be, probably 2 or 3. But yeah, I'm going to be at PAX too. So say hi, and I will probably be a hugger, but if you come up to me and say, hi, this is who I am, and you don't see me go, oh my God, yes, please explain further, because I am so bad at names, and I've apologized.
Just say your username. Don't say
your
real
username.
Name.
Sometimes I even need like the Twitter picture, and then I'm like, oh, of course that person, and then like I'm just dumb. Ignore me. But don't ignore me. Come say hi. I'll be there with Ren. And we'll be tied at the hip. You'll see a lot of content from that, because we're gonna post some vlogs, and I probably am gonna do more TikToks. Who knows? DanaeKeener.com.
Boy, I'm Cyber. I will not be at PAX. However, this Saturday, as is tradition on twitch.tv/cyberworld1201 at the beginning of December, we are going to be doing our annual 1201 charity stream, where we will be where I will be taking donos for Wolf Conservation Center, Code to College, Austin Pets Alive, and the Gerber Roll Foundation, and getting my employer to match all of them. So hey, your dollar will turn into $2 for charity. We will be playing a randomizer of The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, and it should be a good time. That's Saturday, December 2nd, not as close to 12:01 as we can get, at 7 Central. But other than that, you can find me at Cyber on Blue Sky, and that's really it. DanaeKeener.com.
Hey, speaking of DanaeKeener.com, that's me, or the person that you can find there, Danae Keener. I do nerdy drawings mostly related to D&D and a lot of things on this channel, but this weekend I am also going to be at PAX. I am planning on masking up, maybe, I don't know, so I'll probably be hard to recognize. Psych, I won't. I'm going to be carrying around this little fella. He is a mimic, and he's very cute. So like if you don't recognize me, you'll at least be able to recognize him. So come and say hi. DanaeKeener.com.
If you've made it this far, you probably already know who I am, but if you don't, hey Acorns, what's up? It's me, your buddy, your pal, your friend, the Indoor Adventurer, the showrunner here at twitch.tv/Indoor Adventures. I would say we do shows like this on Mondays at 5:30, but that's on hiatus until 2024. And I would say that we also do shows like this at 3 p.m. on Sundays, but we're off for the next 2 weeks. So I don't know, maybe I'll build a model kit. Maybe I'll log on and teach people how to play Flesh and Blood, the card game I've been really into. I can do all sorts of shit with all this free time. Or maybe I'll work on like the 5 projects that I keep putting off to the point where I got invested into a card game instead of doing what I was supposed to. So with that being said, we are going to be going into our Patreon supported after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from each other but also from the community. So if you have any questions for myself or any of these other fine folk, feel free to again join us at patreon.com/indooradventures. Oh, I had a little bit of gas there. It got caught in my chest. That was a bad time. But we are going to be heading off. So I'd like to say once again, thank you from the bottom of my heart to everybody who stuck with us so far, to all of you new folks, and of course, to these fantastic players. I couldn't have done this. I couldn't have done any of this without them. So thank you. And I mean that. And we'll see all of you guys next time. All right, everybody. See you soon!